Good evening, fellow ghouls and specters alike. Your ghost host with the most here, Tiki.
And BlueDragonFive.
And Jacob Wile, too.
Here to engage in some haunted holiday hijinks by trudging through the catacombs and dusting off the cobwebs as we recount our spooky selection of Halloween classics.
So light the jack-o'-lantern, suit up, and grab the candy dish as we revive and recount tonight's selection. SpongeBob SquarePants Graveyard Shift. Okay, guys, so I've got to say, out of all our selections, this is probably the one I've been most looking forward to. Like, it's either this or the finale. But this in terms of, like, just our regular selections, because, of course, the finale is something we wanted to do for since last year, so that's kind of a big, sort of a monumentous occasion there. But I'd say out of the regular selections, this is definitely the one I was most looking forward to. This episode, to me, is just, it's classic SpongeBob. Of course, it might not be the Halloween special itself. We went over the Halloween special with Monkey, and apparently they have a new... What?
Which Halloween special?
I think it was the original one.
Yeah, it was just, it was the costume party.
You mean the costume when I was a teenage Gary?
No, there was the...
Oh, just the one where he dresses as the Flying Dutchman.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, the one where he pulls off his costume and everyone sees his brain.
Yeah, all right.
Okay, and of course there is a new SpongeBob Halloween special out that we might cover at some point down the future, but this is a classic, folks. Like I said, it's not specifically a Halloween episode, but nonetheless, this is an absolute classic. I have so much nostalgia for this one in particular. I think this episode just hits so many beats so well. It's a great, like, setup and payoff. It's... it reminds me of, like, a more silly version of, like, a creepy episode of Hey Arnold, because it's got all the tropes. It's got, like, the story. It's got the scary beats. It's got kind of, like, the funny twist ending. And then it's got kind of, like, a weird supernatural twist at the end of it. We'll get there. Any nostalgia on your guys' end for this?
Oh, okay, Dragon, you go ahead, then.
Well, it's real quick. I was just to say this is really in a really kind of fun era of SpongeBob. I mean, this kind of the early stuff. This kind of almost SpongeBob at its prime, if I'm remembering correctly. This is like
when people were comparing SpongeBob to, like, quintessential, like, Looney Tunes and stuff like that.
Yeah, like this was before the movie, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, this was definitely before the movie.
Yeah, which I want to say,
I think it was like in the middle of season 2.
Yeah, it was like, you can tell, like, it's kind of a cleaner style, and it basically doesn't have the '90s kind of cell look to it anymore. It's kind of done directly on the looks. Of course, looks good. This one, it feels just, it feels very honest. Feels very kind of, it's like everything you want in a cartoon almost. This one just feels kind of very much, as Steve just kind of echoed there. It feels very kind of like the modern Looney Tune in a way. Mm-hmm. And I have to agree with that. And that's the one thing I really want to get in there is that the main. I remember watching this, and I remember again I was I had watched SpongeBob regularly at the time. I remember when this aired. In fact, I was watching it regularly and just kind of enjoying it. I remember the whole Pick Boy era of Nickelodeon.
Yeah.
I'd be on the edge of my seat. Oh God, what's Pick Boy? Which VHS tape is he putting in?
Even back then, Nickelodeon was, like, playing to, like, the orange VHS tape nostalgia.
That's what I'm saying. So I mean, oh boy, I remember those days, the good old days where you felt like you actually had some sort of impact on what was being shown. But the main thing with SpongeBob, one of my favorite types of SpongeBob episodes, and honestly, it's kind of like, I have a similar thing with Home Improvement, actually. I just kind of like the segment of the show more than I like the show itself to a degree. Is that, while Home Improvement is a fine show, I love the Tool Time segments. And with SpongeBob, easily, if I would take all Krusty Krab episodes, if I really, those are my favorite episodes of SpongeBob.
Yeah, I can see it. I mean, if I were to go down the line, I'm sure there's other, like, non-Krusty Krab episodes that I love, too. But,
probably the best Krusty Krab episode from the early one is not the help one, but the training video.
Oh yeah,
oh, it's a great one. That's what I'm saying. So, Krusty Krab, it's kind of SpongeBob and kind of
I've always held Squid's Day Off up on a pedestal as like my favorite SpongeBob episode, and that's very much centered on the Krusty Krab.
That's what I'm saying. I think you get a lot of great story opportunities, and you don't have to worry about like every character in Bikini Bottom. It's just kind of like it's kind of our main cast. Again, it feels like almost like SpongeBob in a workplace sitcom almost, and it feels really, I don't know. You get like some fun story potential with kind of these three different personalities. Of course, Patrick can wander in. It's it feels I don't know, like I kind of like limiting the world SpongeBob to that, but at the same time, you get a lot of kind of fry cook gags in there. It's SpongeBob working at a fast food restaurant. Rarely do you see that in cartoons.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun.
My nostalgia is a bit shorter than that, obviously, but because I didn't get into SpongeBob Mania until like the mid 2000s, like probably the earlier 2000s, like probably like around the time or after the movie came out.
Sounds like that'd be like shortly after the movie came out.
That should be around. I want to say that's 05. I want to say the movie came out 04, 05.
Like either 03 or 04, I'd say.
Oh, this was probably before the movie still then.
All right.
I don't know. I remember getting into it after the movie came out, and so
Okay,
and like
your timelines might be a little bit mixed up, but
like,
whatever.
Around the time the movie came out, because I remember not seeing the movie in theater, either movie in theaters actually, but then the more recent one's a different story, of course. But so even it's just like it was like when SpongeBob hype was still very huge, so I was like. Yeah, I've been avoiding it for this long, and I now know I have access to Nickelodeon, so I might as well give it a shot. And basically, just like I mentioned, Kurt got me into Cartoon Network. This show got me into Nickelodeon.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it made me discover a whole lot of other Nickelodeon shows and a whole spectrum of other kind of cartoons that were available at the time. So, I mean, this episode is like, it's like I think they're like showing reruns, and I came across this episode, and I definitely came across as like dude, it's very clever writing and horror tropes, and like more like subversion of horror tropes in a way. So it's like this is actually one episode that really stuck to me.
Yeah, I think this episode does a great job with the horror tropes, as you mentioned. Like. Even though the episode in itself isn't really all that scary, it does a good job of, of kind of like building up the atmosphere at the same time. Like it's a good mix of the silly and the, not scary but spooky.
Absolutely, it does build atmosphere and tone very well. I mean, what I like to say about that, like, it presents itself into the viewer as not scary, but it actually makes you believe that the characters actually would find this scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Like you understand why they're scared, but you're not. But it makes you make sure you're not.
Yeah.
It taps in. This episode does tap into what fear really is. It's what goes on in your head. Many a time will be scarier than what the actual situation is.
Yes. And it also and the walls will ooze green slime.
I mean, they always use green slime.
Yes. Which is frankly probably the scariest part of the episode. Which is probably scary for a different reason.
All right, you guys are jumping ahead.
All right. Well, let's start at 8 o'clock.
It's just a gag. Sorry.
Okay,
all right.
Let's start.
So, 8 o'clock.
Oh, 8 o'clock. Closing time for the daytime eatery, the Krusty Krab.
That's just a Squidward.
He's like watching his watch. We're closing in 3, 2, 1. 8 o'clock.
Yep, Squidward's favorite time of the day, closing time at the Krusty Krab. He's the guy that doesn't really take a lot of pride in his work. He's by the way, it was a really excellent. Again, this is a testament to when Squidward is working, when he's just working as a character. This episode is an absolutely fantastic Squidward episode.
Where Squidward is not ever being like a bad customer service person. He's just fed up with the situation more than anything.
Yeah.
All right.
So Squidward, he's looking forward to. Squidward, yeah, he's looking forward to.
My hot date with a girl named Clarinet.
Yes. Then we have this dim fish. We have a dim fish ordering through the.
This guy is completely dumb.
Yeah, many people remember him. Basically,
it's like the blue fish with the white shorts that we see all the time.
Well, that's different. We have like the guy, this is the chocolate guy. There's all that chocolate.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I get my.
I'm just saying they reuse. Here's the thing, folks. They reuse the same.
He's also the potato salad guy, and is voiced by, and I think he's voiced by the same guy who voices Plankton.
Yeah, Doug. That's Mr. Lawrence. That's Doug Lawrence. There's also Filbert from Rocko's Modern Life for the kids out there.
And also,
well, I should say the kids grown up now.
And he's also Edward from Camp Lazlo.
Yes, another Joe Murray show. Joe Murray, cool guy. But yes, but yeah, they reuse models a lot, so you'll have a lot of crossover and just kind of the same models used, sometimes with different voices, many times with the similar voices. It's kind of a story, room gag. Like for example, Walt Dorn, who went on to work on Shrek. He started off in storyboards for SpongeBob. And I know he does a lot of current SpongeBob. I don't know if he does like current, like today SpongeBob. For a while, he did like a lot of recent ones. So it's Walt Dorn for you. Rumpelstiltskin from
Walt Dorn. Yeah. Well, I know he's like still with DreamWorks.
Yeah, it's a thing. I mean, for a while he was kind of doing double time, so I don't know where they kind of land on that now. But
I know Mr. Lawrence is still with SpongeBob.
Of course. So this dim fish is ordering the
like as a writer, not just as the voice of Plankton.
Right. So anyway, the dim fish in the purple shirt. He is ordering this. He's ordering his food despite the fact that, hey, read the sign. It says close, and he has such a. What a stupid guy he's saying. Here's a love of Krabby Patty. He says, look, basically Squidward spells it out for him. Hey, look, I got a life. Yes, Jacob?
Like as I guess, I actually work at customer service in real life. I work as a cashier at a convenience store.
Yeah.
You'll have customers like this in real life.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Probably not, but no, actually just as dumb.
Yeah, that's a scary reality, folks.
Right. That's the American
art many times imitates reality. So anyway, Squidward spells it out for him that he's closed. I have a life. I'm gonna get out of here. And then of course, our fish responds with, "Fine, if you don't want my money." Actually, I don't know. I think they might recast him from Doug Lawrence to.
It doesn't matter.
Anyway, yeah. So fine, if you don't want my money.
Money.
Enter my favorite character.
Oh, the great Clancy Brown. Now, there's a man who's never going to be recast.
I love Mr. Krabs so much. Oh, God. I love that they did like Jack Benny on SpongeBob. That never ceases to amuse me. We did kind of.
You mean if we stay open later, you'll give us your money?
Yeah, and of course the other people on the outside, and of course he tears the sign in half, saying, "Welcome to the night." I love
how as soon as he tears the sign up, it's like this whole mob of people comes rushing in.
Welcome to the night shift, Mr. Squidward. We're open 24 hours.
Welcome to the Krusty Krab, where we regularly break union labor laws.
Right.
So this is SpongeBob's dream come true. That we can work.
We never have to stop working.
And I noticed this a while ago, but this is like the first of 2 episodes where he keeps Krusty Krab open for 24 hours.
You gotta remember, this started here, and the idea is when SpongeBob down the line, they're going to reuse similar plot lines over and over again.
Was the other one the pizza episode?
No, not the pizza episode. Well, no, it wasn't the pizza. I was just like, he just struck me at closing time. But no, there's the basically SpongeBob goes crazy. And, Plankton concocted this plan to drive SpongeBob crazy by opening the chum bucket 23 hours. So Mr. Krabs.
Oh, that's right. I remember
24 hours.
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of reusing some similar beats. They're basically running out of ideas at that point. But now they seem to be getting kind of on a similar back on track.
Talk about a show running out of ideas. Watch the frickin' Simpsons. But I digress.
Anyway, the point is, so Mr. Krabs, so this is SpongeBob's dream come true. Mr. Krabs, he leaves. He leaves the episode because I've got a life.
I can't hang out here all night.
And again, with SpongeBob's positivity, I just want to say again, it was where we're hitting good SpongeBob. Where now again, there's an era where we just have terrible SpongeBob as much as this really cruel individual.
I've heard that SpongeBob's gotten a lot better after the past couple seasons with Hillenburg back on board. So
I would hope
just giving it the benefit of the doubt for the you're right, Dragon. We should say like the dark era of SpongeBob. We should not say current SpongeBob.
Exactly. That's why. Yeah, that's why you're absolutely right. We got to make sure that the delineation is clear. Regardless, this is in like the sweet spot of SpongeBob, where he's kind of fitting what I love in a good character, like a character like Deadpool, for example. You have a guy who loves his work, who loves his job. The guy's always kind of positive in the face of anything. And with SpongeBob, you have that inherently, even more tenfold in a way. So this is a guy who loves working at the Krusty Krab. He doesn't even care about the money. So he loves the idea of working.
For hours and hours and hours and hours, and then the sun will come out, and it'll be tomorrow, and we'll still be working.
It'll be like a sleepover.
It'll be sweaty and covered in grease.
Then, of course, this is SpongeBob's dream come true. This is actually Squidward's worst nightmare.
Do you think that's supposed to sound dirty?
Well, I wouldn't put it past him, but I
think it's more just supposed to sound accurate to what actual night shift workers look like when they get off their shifts.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
I know, but doing with this whole sleepover and this kind of sounds dirty if you ask me.
I wouldn't read too much into that.
It could be like my mind's in the gutter or something.
Yeah, get your mind out of the gutter, Jacob.
I mean
Pennywise is down there, Jacob. Get out, seriously. He's gonna get you.
SpongeBob has pulled those kind of jokes before.
All right.
Sure. Okay, let's see. So Squidward is
he's just completely unamused.
Yes, he's asking this customer to hit him really hard with the bat.
He gives him a paint pat. Please hit me as hard as you can.
We have this hilarious run of
I love how matter-of-factly Squidward is about this whole thing.
He's not over the top. He just has this wonderful dry delivery. And again, we're just hitting Squidward right
Look,
spot.
Squidward, I'm working in the kitchen at night. I'm chopping lettuce at night.
I'm swabbing the bathroom at night.
Squidward's just like cuts back to Squidward. He's like, right there, hard as you can.
And of course, let's not forget the most important one. I burned my hand at night. First of all, his hand is red and inflamed. Anyways, then of course, night. He's basically doing the baseball anthem. Night. So this is where Squidward's hitting a breaking point. He says, "Okay, look, why don't you take the trash out at night?" Of course, SpongeBob was all eager, and then again, I love we're hitting that great kid logic that with SpongeBob, which is why the audience, why he just works well marketed to kids, and why he's kind of stuck around. Just kind of this. We've all been there at some point. Realize, hey, yeah, this is great. Then we realize, okay, something. There's a downside here, and well, it's kind of that scary. We do kind of like a Jaws kind of reveal here, like in a reverse Jaws shot, where we see the extended outside, and we have like this dumpster in the outskirts, all alone. It's all dark. It's not as bright and inviting as it would be in the daytime. So SpongeBob's a little hesitant, and Squidward's perking up at this. So then he kind of tests SpongeBob here, and SpongeBob says, "Oh no, it's fine. This cycle of animation is hysterical."
What, SpongeBob like running to take the trash out?
I think as a kid, we've all been there at some point.
I think the screaming like really makes it.
I think we like deep down we've all been there at some point, whether we'll admit it or not. We've all had like it's now scary out at night. You want to make it quick and maybe not as over the top as SpongeBob is making it out to be here, but I think we've all been there.
Right, of course.
Like, I love the flail of the arms too. The minute he takes a step back inside, he plays it off as cool. So then Squidward's just playing on SpongeBob's very obvious fear, with the this. Oh, you know this, SpongeBob. Of course, you know the story. No, what do I know? What do I know? The Hash-Slinging Slasher. Ooh. Let's see. So then we have this pronunciation.
The trash singing, the mash bringing, the crash dinging.
The Hash-Slinging Slasher. Then, of course, Squidward then correction. Well, no, usually people call him the ha because that's all they get to say before he gets up.
I love that. That's a nice creative touch in Squidward's story.
You guys remember what Squidward's voice actor's name is? You guys remember what Squidward's voice actor's name is? It's Bumper something.
Roger Bumpus.
Roger Bumpus. Thank you. Roger Bumpus. He does such a great job with this story here. This out of context. Again, there's a really good performance on the story because he's doing this great thing where you can tell he's obviously
telling like a Hey Arnold like Gerald story.
Yes, but here's the great thing though. It's he's making it up on the fly and it reads very obviously. But again, it's so well told and it's so funny what he's doing here.
What night is it? Tuesday. Every Tuesday night.
No, essentially, who wants to story?
And the whole probably my favorite part of that scene. One of my favorite parts of that scene is where he's like where he's demonstrating how he cut off the hand, except and SpongeBob keeps pulling off his arms.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but to go through the whole story, Dragon.
Yeah.
He said he wasn't a sponge. Sorry.
All right. Years ago, at this very restaurant, the Hash-Slinging Slasher used to be a fry cook just like you. One night, when he was cutting the patties, it happened. He forgot the secret sauce? No. He didn't wash his hands. He used the irregular portions. He cut off his own hand by mistake. Then, yeah, here we get Jacob's.
I love the
like this, or this, or this.
This arm animation is
I love how all the arms are like so startled when Squidward says, "But it didn't grow back."
I love
it's like all the arms like jump up in fear out in unison.
I love the sound design, the little squeaky noise.
And then for some reason, SpongeBob starts to eat them, which is basically auto cannibalism.
But again, he is a sponge though, so it's like the filter feed thing. So it's not as twisted as it might seem.
I know, but still.
All right.
Biologically correct.
Yeah, so, right.
So he replaced his hand with a rusty spatula, but then he was hit by a bus. And at the funeral, they fired him. I just love that idea of someone firing someone at their own funeral.
So just two things. There's one, I mean, I love that he
also,
is, again, maybe...
does that not sound like something that Mr. Krabs would do?
Yeah, I mean, that's totally
like go to someone's funeral and be like, "By the way, boy, you're fired."
You're fired.
that does sound like something Mr. Krabs would do, but I love this. That the Squidward is playing the one to SpongeBob's fears, but secondly, again, he's just basically adding worst thing upon worst thing in the story of like, okay, how can I make this worse? And then he fired him at his own funeral.
That's SpongeBob's worst fear.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. But again, it's the absurdity of like SpongeBob's interruptions. Like, was it regular portions? It's all these ridiculous guesses. Like, it's a really well laid out sequence. Anyway, yes. So
every Tuesday night, his ghost returns to the Krusty Krab to wreak horrible vengeance.
Hey, dude, can I borrow some ketchup?
There's 3 signs. The lights start flickering on and off. Hey man, can I borrow some ketchup? Oh yeah, sure. Here you go. That's what I'm saying. Like in the middle of all this, Squidward's still being a good customer service person.
It's so well structured. The phone will ring, but no one will answer.
Yes.
And then 3. This is where here's the arm biting thing. Basically, it's like a popcorn tub.
Yeah, he's like eating the arms as popcorn, like nervously. Yeah.
Yeah, it's basically biting his nails, but he's biting him down to the arm.
Those must be some good arms.
Yeah.
Maybe like chicken legs. Who knows?
Get yours today, folks.
Anyways,
like with a lovely side dish of rock soup.
Oh, God.
Yes, folks. Are you peckish around the Halloween season? Do you get peckish?
You just had to get him started, Jacob. You had to get him started.
Do you want something soft, chewy, and tasting of a simpler late '90s era, but now early 2000s? Don't you want that refreshing taste of youth? You're in luck. You have sponge arms. Perfect for when you're shrieking in terror. Tired of biting your own nails? Are you out? Are you down to the bone? Don't worry. You got a tub of sponge arms. Forget Puffs. Forget Mrs.
Sponge
Puffs.
arms, like we were talking about Universal Studios candy. Like I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had those at Universal Studios.
Are you going to the Universal gift shop and you want the outdated ride products that they always have in the Universal store, even though the rides no longer exist?
That's absolutely definitely a thing. Like they still have SpongeBob merchandise, even though technically. I don't even think SpongeBob is even technically still licensed to Universal
I know,
Studios.
that's what I'm saying. I've been there too. I've seen they had still Back to the Future stuff there.
Right. Anyways.
Yes. Anyway, back on points after the arm biting gag. So what's the third sign, Tiki?
The third sign is that a bus will pull up and he exits the bus.
The ghost of the bus that ran him over.
Yeah.
Yes.
He'll exit the bus. He'll cross the street without looking both ways.
Adam West's worst nightmare.
I know. Adam West is like, no.
Because he's already dead.
Holy jaywalk, Batman!
And then he'll tap on the window with his greasy spatula, and he'll open the door. And he'll slowly approach the counter. This is my favorite part of the whole episode, by the way. Outside of the ending, maybe.
Yeah.
And you want to know what he does next?
What does he do?
You really want to know? Yeah. Are you sure you want to know? What does he do? Well, he turns around and he gets your back and he gets you, which leads to just a hilarious soundbite from Tom Kenny.
A chorus of shrieks.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Oh, we have the eye gag too.
Yeah,
The eyes are shrieking
the
as
eyes
well.
are screaming. Yeah. So Squidward, he's quickly just to get that out. He's like, no, SpongeBob, it's not true. None of it's true. Nobody has a spatula for a hand. It was all a joke.
So then we have basically laughing, mirroring the same, like,
Yeah.
And of course, we have the image.
I actually need to be able to imitate SpongeBob's laugh.
So then we have the.
That was good. That was decent.
All right, so then we have the image before us here. This song cracks me up. The neon sign on top of the Krusty Krab, "Open Forever." I just love that. Out of context, that's hysterical. By the way,
Especially because, how did Krabs come up with all the elaborate lighting on that neon and everything before he left? It's when you look at it semantically, it just falls apart.
My guess is that he probably had it there the whole time when he was preparing for somebody to open all night.
Yeah, here's the thing. It's actually there, but he unplugged the light, so we never noticed.
Yeah, it's like he had it. He was originally playing for 24 hours, then he realized nobody really did it. Then he's unplugged it because he's too cheap to get rid of it.
It's how the second Krusty Krab is right next to it.
I was gonna bring up Krusty Krab too, Dragon. That was the next thing on my mind.
That still pisses me off. By the way, the fact that we couldn't have just saved it for the end. We have to. We establish it. We never go back to it. But it's just covered up with a giant tarp somewhere.
Technically, it's considered the SpongeBob movie is considered to take place at the very end of the series, after everything.
I know.
Oh,
that's what it should be, but it's not.
All right. So let's see. So Squidward is very boringly kind of reading a book behind the counter. Obviously, no one's there. Squidward's getting sort of creeped out by the suction cup noises he's hearing, but then he realizes it's SpongeBob mopping the ceiling.
Yep.
You never had time to clean the ceiling during the day.
I love the logic of SpongeBob's got the water bucket upside down on the ceiling.
And of course, Squidward's he's fed up with that noise.
And keep this one, he has water in it.
Of course.
And basically,
as you said, Dragon, he's getting fed up. He's like, who even wants a Krabby Patty at 3 a.m?
Cut away to Patrick back in his golden days.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Oh boy, 3 a.m.
Just eats a Krabby Patty that he's gotten in advance, I suppose. He was chowing down.
Dragon, if I could bottle up one Patrick gag and sell it as essence of Patrick, it might be that gag.
Oh, the starfish.
Oh, the starfish. Okay.
Find it in your local stores next to the edible sponge arms.
Oh, no, right, so you find it in even better. Find it in the perfume department.
Taste the 90s.
The perfume department. Oh God, not the perfume department, Jacob. Anything but the perfume department.
Oh my God! It just occurred to me. We got to do that episode at some point.
Remind me what that perfume department thing was from.
That's from the Dutchman episode. That's from that's the Shanghai.
Okay, yeah. We gotta
do that.
SpongeBob, we do.
Yeah.
The door's locked, and the only way out is through the.
Is that the one where Patrick's ridiculous howl is like, ole, ole, ole?
I can't remember. I think
it's the same episode, but
it might be a different one. I know exactly what you're talking about, T. I just can't remember if it's in the same episode.
No, it's not, because that's when you're teaching them how to scare, and I think teaching them how to.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Anyway, back on point.
Maybe it might be the same episode. Actually, I don't know.
Who knows?
Anyway, So, after the Patrick cutaway, the lights begin to flicker on and off.
And Squidward thinks it's SpongeBob.
But it's not SpongeBob.
Hey, Squidward, how are you doing that without moving the switch?
We see like this spider web coated light switches, and no one is touching this thing, which is terrifying.
Which kind of implies that Krabs leaves the lights on perpetually for some reason, considering how much of a cheapskate he is.
Right.
Exactly.
It's amazing because like in several episodes, it's like he's shown he doesn't light half the store because he's trying to save money. But you even wonder, like, why does he even turn on the lights at all if he's trying to save money?
Maybe it's like a clerical error, like he doesn't get charged for that, and he's like afraid if he turns it off, then like the minute he turns it back on again, he'll be charged. Yeah. Anyway, it doesn't work like cable, but I'm just trying to factor a logic in there. But anyway, so the phone rings. The phone rings, but no one's answering.
Yeah, nice try, Squidward. The phone will ring, and there will be no one there.
Or Squidward is buying into his own BS, essentially, where he's realizing...
Yeah, this is great how Squidward is just like, he's completely paranoid at this point. And
this is how you write Squidward, folks. This is how you do it.
Mm-hmm. And then, the walls will ooze green slime!
This is...
Like, no,
they always do that.
Which, like I said, which on its own is a different kind of terrifying.
Yeah, as Jacob said, like that is kind of like terrifying in its own right when you think about it.
And the fact that he's used to it is even a different matter.
Right.
Like,
oh man, like what kind of sanitation are they running in this establishment?
I love the ridiculousness. Maybe remember.
What I'm saying is maybe SpongeBob should focus less on mopping the ceiling and cleaning up the maybe fixing what green slimes.
I think it's funny that Squidward can't remember his own story that just probably happened like at most an hour ago. He can't remember like the three things that he made up in a story.
Can't
remember what the third one was. Like can't remember the bus. Anyway. So yes, after the walls ooze green slime, but that's a normal occurrence of Krusty Krab. The music begins. We have some great music going on with all of this, by the way, with like these things coming back. Is the way we're building the atmosphere. We got the music, we got the build, and of course we had some great camaraderie between SpongeBob and Squidward here as they're getting scared out of their wits. It's a winning combination. All of these elements that kind of make this episode. By the way, I just want to kind of highlight that.
SpongeBob, as much as I hate to admit it, I always kind of liked you.
Yeah. So, by the way, I mean the bus arrives.
Like I use your clarinet to unclog my toilet.
You did what now?
So the reason they're cowering in fear, by the way, is the bus arrives. Of course, you got all this smoke. It's really intense. And we have this great image of the Hash-Slinging Slasher, with the red eyes, what we think are red eyes, in the silhouette, with the spatula hand. Of course, we have that. We got to talk about the hair thing.
Like Squidward's hair stands up on end.
Yeah, basically you Squid like the pores he's got in his head like turn the hair emerges from it, and then SpongeBob I love this gag's face. SpongeBob always starts to cry. Like,
Squidward, I'm just so touched that you go through the trouble to dress up as a ghostly fry cook and stand on the other side of the street just to entertain me. You must really like me.
There are two problems with that, SpongeBob.
1, I hate you. And 2, how can I be standing over there when I'm right here?
And with the eyelash, SpongeBob's eyelashes mirror exactly what Squidward's have done. It's like, whoa! And now they're freaking out. Then they're basically saying their prayers and just kind of like they're basically saying goodbye to each other as the Hash-Slinging Slasher makes his way across the end. This is what I'm talking about, like the build of music. Everything's coming together. It's all coming together, folks. Big climax of the episode. And again, only 9 minutes. Very impressive. Building there. Last moments. Oh my god! And they're blathering like scared idiots. It's hilarious. And then we reveal that the Hash-Slinging Slasher is
just a guy.
Just looking for a job to be fry cook.
Yeah, he's a very earnest looking fry.
Can I ask for a job application? I tried calling earlier, but I hung up because I got nervous.
Do you have any references? I love SpongeBob asked the title.
Yes,
that is so
SpongeBob
perfect.
instantly jumps into professional mode. Yes.
Like yeah, references. And then Squidward's like I like how Squidward doesn't even question. He was like, if that was you on the bus, And who was flicking the lights?
All right, guys. All right. And so we see him. We see the glorious, glorious movie monster himself. One of the earliest examples of a movie monster. This guy came before Count Dracula, before Frankenstein. So, guys, why don't we say his name in unison, just like in the episode? All right, are you ready to go? In 1, 2, 3.
Nosferatu. And we got to talk about the delivery of that. So here's what we see, folks.
I just love how cheeky they are. Like, I love how they're like wagging their fingers at Nosferatu. My favorite part is how the new fry cook is like instantly in on the gas.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like that Nosferatu, that lovable scamp.
Yes, and folks, the way we cut to like the live action, essentially like a photo, but we essentially like
the photo being like animated like by in a weird like frame by frame kind of way.
Yeah, the only thing that's animated frame by frame really is like it's like the hand in the neck shot, the smile, like the winning smile. So one is like basically Nosferatu has a habit of like flickering lights, and then they realize how silly we are. Nosferatu is flickering the lights like he does the lovable scamp.
Like, as you do. I mean, I just love how this episode ends with that being like the big, like, oh, that's right, everything's normal now. All right, we're good.
Nose, you lovable scamp, you knows we love you, buddy.
Look, folks, words cannot be said enough about how great that ending is and how absurd the humor is and how that is kind of like just a great quintessential example of why early SpongeBob is so awesome.
Yeah, but seriously, think about we end on that winning smile, and you gotta really.
What I like about this, like, it takes this classic horror monster. It's like it goes to Transylvania and kills numerous people, and then when he comes to Bikini Bottom, he just screws through the lights.
You gotta imagine kids all over
I believe you have to thank Stephen Hillenburg for that gag. Because like some of the writers weren't sure they wouldn't get it, but he fought for it apparently.
Yeah. You got to imagine that character's been brought into new popularity because of that gag. For many kids, who have no idea who Nosferatu are, and of course they grow up to find out, and they have like a big frame of reference for that now. They now know. Hey, oh my God!
I first learned about Nosferatu through a documentary on the Dracula DVD. Thank you very much. But yeah, I agree. For most kids, yes.
I mean, that's probably how I learned about Nosferatu. But
like, I was an educated enough kid that by the time I got to this episode, I already knew who the real Nosferatu was.
And technically his name is Count Orlok.
Yes, that's very true, Jacob. I'm glad you bring that up. Yes,
it's not nearly as familiar and catchy though. Nosferatu.
I think Nosferatu is actually like German for like the vampire of the night or something like that.
That sounds, kind of Nosferatu.
Something like that.
I could buy that. Yeah. But yeah, seriously, with the Nosferatu,
kind of like the Frankenstein's monster thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But yeah, with that Nosferatu thing, ending on that smile, that winning boyish smile, it's so nice that we basically it kind of puts the episode's kind of theme in perspective there. That hey, we've been playing a little scary, a little fast and loose with how scary we're going here, because again we're really kind of wrapping people into kind of the scary story that Squidward's telling. We really build up like, oh boy, our guys might be goners at the end of this episode there, and then of course we deflate all vestiges of scariness with kind of this friendly image. We take something horrific looking, but we add kind of a silly filter on it with like, hey, it's kind of a cheap cardboard cutout looking kind of animation we're doing here, where he's just flickering on the lights, and we give him a little smile. It's taking the scary but making it fun and funny, and it's kind of a statement of what this episode is doing. It's like, hey guys, you can be scary, you can be tonal, as long as you bring it back and kind of keep it in the theme of what you're doing here.
Sure.
Which is nice.
And like it's like many people only now like just think it's a random SpongeBob gag though.
Yeah.
Like final thoughts, guys.
That lovable scamp Nosferatu.
I like the episode again. I think it's everything you want in kind of a spooky cartoon. It's a spooky cartoon. It's done very well. Again, it's SpongeBob in its prime, in its heyday. It's kind of like the Band Geeks era of SpongeBob. Again, we got a lot of really winning episodes of SpongeBob going on. Here's yet another spoke in that wheel, and again, of course, the ending very noble, very iconic with a Nosferatu. It's silly. It's silly. It's got some fun scares in there. It's an excellent watch around Halloween. I know it's not directly a Halloween episode, but it's great. And of course, it has like kind of the horror monster of it all worked in there too. So really top mark, really nice, short, sweet episode. Economizes its time very well, very simple in its premise. Accomplished everything very well.
And I did some digging, and apparently Nosferatu did come out after Cabin Dr. Caligari, because Caligari was in 1920, and Nosferatu was 22.
Okay, yeah, because I knew Nosferatu was like early 1920s. Okay. All right,
it's like predated it by 2 years.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Jacob, your final thoughts on this episode?
Again, as you guys, there's not much else we can say about this. It's a classic SpongeBob. I mean, classic SpongeBob is some of the finest Nickelodeon animation has to offer.
Yeah, I mean, as Dragon said, I definitely think this episode is right in that sort of like sweet spot, like high point of classic SpongeBob, and I think it's a pretty quintessential example of like everything the show did well. The show did characters very well. They did random gags very well, but they also built up stories really well and used their storytelling in very economic ways. And I think this episode just kind of fires on all cylinders. Like, I wouldn't put this episode like in my top 5 episodes of SpongeBob, but I might put it in my top 10. You know what I mean? It's a very, very solid, very tight episode, and most importantly, I think maybe out of all the episodes we've done this year that aren't specifically Halloween focused, more creepy focused, this one might be the most appropriate, just because of like the Nosferatu of it all and the urban legend and everything. Like, this one really does feel like a Halloween episode, even though it technically isn't, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, it's like, I have to tend to agree. It's like it is like a very quintessential, a very notable episode at that.
Mm-hmm. All right, Dragon, you want to tease?
One that stands above even the other creepier episodes, even the unintentionally creepy ones.
Yeah, sure. All right, Drag, you want to tease the next selection here?
Sure. So, folks, okay, so the next installment of Haunted Holiday Hijinks is going to be really special. It's going to be new territory for us. You know, it's going to be something we really haven't done on Haunted Holiday Hijinks in a long while. I won't give away exactly what. Let's just say it has something to do with a character very near and dear to my heart, as well as many people's hearts. And that's something Tiki and I, of course, have been talking about in various other shows and programming. Of course, Batman's going to revolve around the Cape Crusader, let's say. Not the Adam West iteration of it, but let's just say just the collective Batman. It's a story that really examines Batman, examines his rogues gallery. It's a very important Batman story, and let's just say it informs a lot of what we have with Batman today. It's very important. It's storytelling of the highest caliber, and that's all I can really tease about it right now, but I think you're all going to be very happy with it, and something that I'm amazed that Tiki has not experienced yet. But oh boy, is he in for a schooling, this lad here.
And I can vouch for that. I won't be joining you guys, but I can vouch for its good quality.
It's like, this is a hugely important Batman story, and I think we're all going to be richer for talking about on Haunted Holiday Hijinks, the next one. So don't miss it, kids.
All right. Well, folks, in the meantime, that ends our spooky selection for tonight, and our spirits grow weary. But don't worry, they'll be stronger than ever next time as we engage in even more Haunted Holiday Hijinks. What?
Nosferatu.